Hi guys, this is Michael with the Tennessee Survivalist and Diana again. She just can't stay out of these videos. Get down, Diana. Um, been a lot of talk on our group lately about how to get started prepping. It seems like there's people on our group and even people I talk to every day that are actually interested in wanting to start survival prepping or prepping for an emergency or a disaster, and either A, they don't know where to begin, or they feel like they just don't have enough money. You know, just because you're poor or on a really tight budget, that doesn't mean you can't do what you is possible to be ready when disaster strikes. Because it doesn't just strike rich folks. It doesn't just strike the people that you see on TV on these stupid shows like Doomsday Preppers. Matter of fact, it probably hits common folks like you and me harder than it would those you see on TV. I hate those shows, but different story. Um, I also had a lot of discussion on our group about budget prepping. Again, probably for the same reason. Maybe people just are trying to stretch their pennies further, or they could just be like me and they're just cheap as hell. Um, I'm gonna save a dime anytime I can. I can promise you that. So with all that said, I decided to sit down and make a series of videos on budget prepping or survival supplies on a budget. Um, we're going to start it off talking to you a little bit about food and water storage. And that's really probably the first place you should start. Um, Set realistic goals for yourself. Start out with, like we talked about on the bug out bag or your go bag, start out with setting up a 3-day supply. Get 3 days of food, 3 days of water. Once you got that down, then you might look into a basic medical kit and the like. We'll get into that later, but set a realistic goal. I'd suggest starting with 3 days. When you get 3 days set and you're comfortable with everything you have for 3 days, then stretch it out to maybe a week. Then you can go 2 weeks, then maybe a month. And just step it up as you go. I'm not anything I'm telling you is not written in stone. You don't have to do none of this way, guys. I'm not a professional. I'm just telling you some things that's worked for me in the past, and some of it still works today. Um, Start off with water. The first thing you need to do with water storage is assess your needs. Um, you got to figure out how many people you are prepping for. Is it just you and a spouse or loved one? Do you have a family of 4? Um, the human body needs 1 gallon of water per day in order to survive. So if you've got a family of 4, that equals, needless to say, 4 gallons of water a day. That adds up quick. A 3-day supply, 3 times 4 is 12. That's 12 gallons of water you're going to need just for 3 days. When you go get into weeks, months, and even a year, that number is astronomical. Unless you've got a lot of space, no matter what you're storing your water in, you're going to have a hard time storing that much water. Don't forget your pets. They got to have food and water too. Assess their needs just like you would your own. Figure out about how much they're going to need per day in food and water. Right now we're talking about water, and set aside for them as you do yourself. If you're like me, your pets are a part of your family, so think about that as you go. Several ways of storing your water. Um, People that are not familiar with this or are not, they're beginner preppers, first thing that comes to their mind is these big blue 50-gallon barrels that you see on the internet or on TV shows, and they're $70 to $100. That turns them off right there. I think, Lord, I cannot afford to do this. You can. You don't have to have those barrels, guys. If you got room for them and you can afford them, great. Buy them, fill them up. You're good to go. Um, there's other commercial water containers out there. They're all equally as expensive to me, and it's not about the container. The container's not going to save your life one little bit. It's what goes in it, that water. With that said, sure, everybody knows you can go out and buy cases of bottled water. Yeah, if that's what you want to do, feel free. You can get some good deals. The price is not bad. I don't like them, and I'll tell you why. The bottles are cheap. They're junk. If I can't reuse it, I'm not going to buy a container. I try not to buy anything in a container that's not repurposable or reusable, and those little water bottles are very flimsy. They're crap to me. Um, am I saying you shouldn't go buy it? No, not by no means. That's strictly up to you. I prefer not to. Um, some of the larger jugs of water are a viable option. Now I've seen some that come in jugs that look like a milk jug. I don't think I would recommend those. Most of those jugs are molded together. They have a seam in them. It goes all the way around the jug. They're going to fail on you. They'll break down. They'll start leaking eventually. They were not designed for long-term storage. One of the ones, and I'm not promoting a specific product, but I'm going to show you one I do like that you can buy at Walmart and Kroger and most of your supermarkets. Like I said, I'm not promoting a specific brand. If somebody knows something bad about this brand, please let me know. I like the containers though. Deer Park, they sell a 3-liter jug of water, like you see right here, for $1 at our local Walmart. I'm sure a comparable price anywhere you can find it. I really like these because the jugs are a little bit heavier duty, more like a 2-liter soft drink bottle, but they've got a cone in the bottom. A lot of people don't realize this. I wish I had 2 of them handy, I'd show you. But this is convex on the top, concaved on the bottom, and they will actually stack together, almost interlock. I have personally tried these out, see how high they'll stack and stay sturdy, and you can go 5 tall with this without a problem. 6 gets a little wobbly. I'm going to tell you a way that even 6 could be done. You can take these and place them 4 side by side, take duct tape and wrap around it, and you've got 4 gallons per layer. Now when you go 5 high, you've got a square tower about 5 foot tall, and you've got, what, 20 gallons of water in it. It's not bad. That could be stuck in the corner of your closet. You can put one on one side, one on the other. You got 40 gallons of water. Again, that's not a lot for long term, but it's a start. Stick your water anywhere you can find. Under your beds, behind your dresser, in your closets. Just be sure to remember where it is. Don't be afraid to put it in oddball, out of the way places. The key to water storage is keeping it out of direct sunlight and as cool as possible. If you don't have anywhere cool, I'll tell you something you can do in a minute where if heat gets to it, you can still be safe to drink. I don't really care where I keep mine. I prefer not to let the sun get to it, but I don't care how hot or cold it gets as long as it doesn't freeze. And as long as the containers, this is my biggest issue. I just want to keep them in good shape where they don't leak. Another thing you can do is repurpose bottles. Just a simple Coca-Cola bottle, 2-liter. I recommend rinsing them out the second they become empty. Don't let them sit around and start drying up. They get all sticky inside. It's real hard to get that sugar and that acid and everything out of the syrup, all out from the inside of the bottle. Rinse them with hot water, hot soapy water if you feel better doing that. You can fill these up, seal them real tight, put them away. They don't stack like your store-bought bottles do. Like I said, I like those store-bought 3 liters. Going back to the 50-gallon barrel that sells for 70 to 100 bucks. You can get 50 gallons of that by Deer Park for $50, and that includes your water and a reusable storage container. It's kind of hard to beat. But almost everybody drinks cold drinks or juices or something. And these are free. It just don't get any cheaper than that. They're free. Most everybody throws them away in their trash. Don't throw them away. Rinse them out and reuse these things. Repurposing is what makes survival prepping affordable. Everything you can find to repurpose, do so. You can fill these bottles up out of your sink if that's what you choose to do. Most municipal water, if you're on city water, it's already got chlorine in it. One of the things that's got in it that a lot of people like myself don't like is fluoride. If you're not familiar with what fluoride can do long term to the human body, look it up on the internet. It'll probably shock you. So I'm not going to stockpile water out of the faucet no more than I have to. Sometimes it is necessary evil. I do it myself occasionally. Ultimately, I would prefer rainwater collection. If you live in an apartment, you're going to have a hard time setting up a rainwater collection system. And later down the road, I'll show you one that can be built fairly cheaply. I'm not going to get into that on this video. Just know if you do store rainwater, you should probably filter it before it goes in the bottle. If you don't mind the taste of chlorine, add a drop or two of chlorine to each one of your containers. It'll help it last longer. Or you could do just like I do and just fill them up and know that whenever they come out, they're going to have to be filtered and possibly even boiled. I'd boil it just to be on the safe side and know that my water's clean, safe to drink. With water out of the way, another problem that people run into is foods. They think survival foods, and they think one of two things. Either expensive freeze-dried foods from companies like Wise and Mountain House, and these are good quality foods, guys, don't get me wrong. They're incredibly light, they're great for your go bag. A lot of people buy them and store them in their closets or in their ready room in their home for emergencies in the home. Myself, I'm not going to. They're too expensive. I can save that money and go buy me another box of ammo or whatever. I'm not knocking them. They are what they are. They're great foods. They're good quality. They'll keep you alive and healthy. But I prefer to try anyway and have my survival food, my stockpile for prepping, to be the same or as close to as possible the foods that I eat on a regular basis. This is really important in a lot of ways because if you go eating something you're not used to eating, especially in a high stress environment of some sort of survival situation, your body's not going to absorb it like it needs to. At the very least, you can have an upset stomach and not be able to perform tasks that you need to be able to perform to stay alive. At the very worst, you can get a bad case of backdoor trots. And if you're in a wilderness survival situation or a severe catastrophe where you can't get to the doctor, maybe even just a huge civil unrest and the hospitals and doctors' offices are closed because they're at home with their families. Just saying, guys, you don't want diarrhea. It can and will kill you. You will dehydrate so fast you won't last no time. So if you buy these foods that you don't normally eat in your regular diet for survival foods, start incorporating them into your regular diet if you want to live. Just point blank. Your body needs to be able to eat these foods. A good way to start your food stockpile, if you hadn't already, everybody goes grocery shopping. When you do, be it weekly, daily, weekly, monthly, however you buy your groceries, the next time you buy your groceries, look at what you bought and look for anything that's got a decent shelf life on it. By decent, 4 to 6 months or better, to me is sufficient, especially if you're on a budget. You can always, if it's foods you regularly eat, you can always stockpile it and keep everything rotated and you're good to go. Canned goods, needless to say, all your vegetables you can buy in metal cans. They're really heavy, they're not good for go bags, but they're fine for emergencies in your home or at your bug out location. As long as they stay dry, you don't want them sitting around in a mud hole in a tarp shelter you built somewhere. They'll be ruined. If you're going to stockpile canned goods, don't forget the manual can opener. Electricity is not going to happen, guys. If you buy one of the ones with a little knob that you turn on it to crank like you see at Walmart and Dollar Store, you better buy a bunch of them. I've yet to find one that won't break on you eventually. If you're counting your life, staking your life on your canned goods, then you better be able to get into them. I'd suggest buying some little P38 can openers or little military can openers. You can buy 100 of them for just a few dollars. Keep one in your pocket, keep one in your wallet, keep them on your keychain, in your kitchen drawers, your backpacks. You can keep them everywhere. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll try and put a picture of one up on my Facebook page. I didn't have one prepared to show you on the video. You can also just get on Amazon, look them up. You can buy 20 or 30 for just a few dollars from them. But they're great. They open cans just fine. Another thing to think about is instant foods, just add water foods that are available in your regular grocery department. I'm not talking about freeze-dried or MREs or stuff. I'm talking about things like these potatoes I've got here. These are from Idahoan. This little packet doesn't weigh hardly anything, 4 ounces. These are great backpack foods too if you're looking for an economical solution to throw in your bug out bag. These work really good. They come in all different flavors. These particular ones are 4 cheese mashed potatoes. This makes 4 half-cup servings, so it makes 2 full cups of mashed potatoes. Looks like it probably make a little more, but that's what it says. All you have to do is add hot water to these and stir them up and eat them. It doesn't get any simpler than that. They only cost, I think, 95 cents. They're pretty inexpensive. Our Walmart here in town's actually got packs of 10 of these on sale right now for $8. They're just a great, great, great survival food. They've got a really good shelf life on them. Let's see if I can find it here. It's a 2-year shelf life, roughly 2 years out from when I bought them. If you buy these to stockpile, you may want to put them in another bag or vacuum seal them. I don't know if these plastic bags, if they'll seal, will last for long term on the shelf or not. But the food inside it will. If if 6 months is your goal, if you're looking to try and make a 6-month rotation, I know this will work fine. Another thing you need to think about is meat. Most everybody's ground beef or steaks or chicken or pork of some type, and if power's down or you can't get the store or whatever, you're not going to have your fresh meat. You got to look at alternatives if you're planning on including meat in your diet. One of those alternatives is canned meats like Spam or potted meat. A lot of people buy the canned ham and chicken and tuna. You can. There's a lot of mercury content in some of that. Some people try and stay away from it. Personally, I like the Spam. Got it right here. Slice it up and fry it. You can throw it on a grill. If you haven't ever tried grilled Spam, you don't know what you're missing, guys. This stuff is good, good, good on a grill. They got several different flavors out now. This is just a regular, but they make it hickory smoked. They've got bacon flavor. They've got little bits of cheese in it. It's still shelf stable. Let me get this can back a minute. Let's see how far out this is. Yeah, best if used by April of 2017, and this, I got this from the very, very, very front of my stockpile, which is at least a year old. About 3 to 4 years shelf life on this stuff. It's not 20 years from Wise Foods or Mountain House, but it ain't bad. Another thing that I like, especially for backpack, is these little Libby's vacuum seal packs of ground beef. This weighs 6 ounces. It's not a lot. Works good if you're wanting to add some ground beef to your chili, or if you've got some vegetables that you grow in your garden and you want to make some beef stew of some kind, you can mix this with it, or maybe make some spaghetti. Anything you'd want to add ground beef to, you can add this to it. Sloppy Joes, if you've got a can of manwich laying around, you want to mix this with it. I like it for backpack. They make little packs of chili too, and all you got to do is mix them together and heat them up over your fire or over your alcohol stove or whatever your alternative cooking method is, and you're ready to go. These are a little more expensive. These are about $2.50, and it's not a lot of meat, but they're still great for backpack food, and they're a lot cheaper than your MREs. Last thing I can think of when it comes to the types of food to store economically is learn to can your own food. You can pressure can it. You can even water bath can. You don't have to spend $90 or more on a pressure canner to be able to can your own food. Unless you're going to can meats, then you have to pressure can it. But vegetables, you don't have to pressure can. You can water bath can them. We're not going to get into a whole video on how to can. We may do some of that later. This is a can we've had for a year or two. Starting to look kind of rough, but I can assure you we eat out of this stuff daily. This is potatoes, carrots, and onions. You could take this, mix some of that ground beef I've got over there, or some canned ground beef, and make you a nice soup or stew out of it. I would highly recommend anybody who's wanting to build up an economical food storage to learn to can their own foods. Now, another practice that you can do to start building up your food supply if you're on a budget or if you're overwhelmed about the quantity that you will need or whatever. Like I said, set goals, start with 3 days, and go out from there. Do that for each member of your family that you're prepping for. Don't forget your pets. What I would recommend is, like I said, when you go buy your groceries, look at stuff, look at the expiration dates on the food that you just bought. Any of it that has a 4 to 6 month shelf life is a viable option for stockpiling for an emergency. If it's longer than that, even better. Then you can make you a list of any of the foods that you just bought that have that shelf life that you're looking for. And the next time you go grocery shopping, make sure to buy the groceries you intended to go buy, plus 1 or 2 of these items that were long-term shelf stable. For instance, if I bought my weekly groceries and that included a can of Spam, or even if it didn't include a can of Spam, for me, I'd buy one. Spend the $2.50 and buy a can. If that's all you've got to spend is a couple of bucks extra to buy one more thing, then do it. That's one thing you didn't have. And I'd always recommend to start out with looking at the foods that you normally buy and see if any of it is an option for long-term shelf storage. If it is, when you go grocery shop the next time, add $2 or $3 to it and buy some of these. You'll build up a nice stockpile in no time flat, I promise you. Always remember to rotate your stock if you're not buying real long-term foods like some of the ready-made survival foods. Keep it rotated, keep your oldest stock to the front. If you're eating off of it throughout the week, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that at all, guys. I do it too. Just make sure you keep it rotated out so when the poo goes flying and hits the fan, you're not going to have old, outdated food at the back of your cabinets that's no good anymore because you've eaten your freshest stuff. Keep it rotated. That'll keep you safe, keep you alive. Watch for stores that you regularly go to, and even some of those that you don't. Watch for sales. Look for coupons. Don't be afraid to use them. A lot of times I still find it more economical to just buy house brands, though. Some people don't like house brands. That's strictly up to you. Myself, if I can save a penny, I'm going to save a penny. That's just the way it works. That's how we do things here. About all I got to say right now. I'm going to come back later with some details on some specific things we do so I can go more into detail. But hopefully this will be just a general idea of how to get started with your water and your food storage on a budget. Don't be scared to do it, guys. Don't think that because you're living paycheck to paycheck you can't afford to start food prepping. You can. Anybody can. Buy one extra thing each paycheck. You'll have a nice supply before you know it. Guess that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Again, I'm Michael with the Tennessee Survivalist. Come check us out on Facebook. Again, our group is the Tennessee Survivalist. If you live here in Tennessee, we're glad to answer any questions. You may even have some answers for some of my questions. Who knows? Check back with us soon. We'll have some more videos coming. Thank you.